Never believe anything you see, nothing that you hear, and nothing that you read, especially today. So I had a comment that came in today that threw me down this rabbit hole, and I actually found a few minutes to kind of digest it and to kind of look into it, and I was like, wait a minute, I've thought the same thing before. There has to be some truth there. So there's a 1% elite, and like George Carlin said, there's 1% elite, and guess what? You ain't in it. If you're watching this, you definitely ain't in it, right? So how many times do you go into like super wealthy neighborhoods and you know that there's not 1%, maybe there's like 1 or 2 in there, and they're getting like pools added on and 3-car garages added on, or fucking helicopter pads added on, or like a new deck or some shit. They're like all over the place. Every time you go to these neighborhoods, there's always someone adding on to some shit that don't even fit, right? So someone mentioned in a comment, yeah, I don't see how all these people afford all these add-ons, much less their boats and everything else. And so I was like, you're right. Let me look into this for a moment. Now, I learned a lot in a few minutes why the study of knowledge is power, as what a lot of people do. And I'm not pointing fingers at any one specific person. Gee whiz. If I could put a tennis court in my backyard, I would. But that's a dream world, right? So people will say buy a house for $200,000, right? Okay. And then let's say the market goes up and that house is worth $300,000, which houses don't gain equity right now because most people bought them in the current bubble. And then as time goes on, as the equity in the home goes up, they refinance it and they have like extra equity, and some people a lot of extra equity, and good for them, right? So they borrow against that equity, and then they refinance their house again and they borrow against that equity, and then when they run out of debt, extra equity, they're saying, hey, wait a minute, I know a contractor that will build me a 3-car garage and a helicopter pad, and then we'll go back to the bank and say, hey, I just added a 3-car garage and a helicopter pad, and let's refinance my house. It's now worth $700,000. But it really isn't worth $700,000 because this is a debt-based system. So the bank's like, okay, yeah, you got a helicopter pad, 3-car garage, sounds fitting. Okay, we'll refinance. Here's your $700,000, whatever. And then the cycle continues. So what I learned from this is when you ride down the street and you see all your neighbors and you're thinking you need to keep up with the Joneses and build your own helicopter pad or your 3-car garage, they probably more than likely, like 99% sure, they're probably doing that because they're struggling like a motherfucker and in debt. When you add on stuff, as I have now learned humbly, and correct me in comments if I'm wrong, but when you add on stuff on already existing mansion house, you're probably really deep in debt. Sometimes the best thing to do is just stop spending. After all, we're run by companies now. Oligarchy, yes. All wars are bankers' wars. Love all, be kind, and wake up.